Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on Outside with Jeff. I just wanted to tune in and tell you a little bit of information I found out yesterday. So where I live in Southern Illinois, I did not realize that you could buy potato slips, sweet potato slips locally. I went to our local nursery and I was asking him if he by chance carried potato slips. He said, no, I don't carry them, but there's an old man that lives over by a lake and he has a really long raised bed and he raises potato slips every year. He said, I don't know if he's still doing it, but you can go down there and check him out. So yesterday I went down there. Turns out he does still do it. However, he does not live there and it's at an abandoned house. So he has a sign there that says, call me, I can be down there in 20 minutes. Well, I was just wanting to see if he still had them, so I wasn't going to bother him with asking him to come down there or anything like that. I didn't feel right videoing on his property. There was neighbors around and stuff like that. I didn't want anyone to think I was like snooping around, so I don't have any video of the property. But basically what he has is he has one long raised bed. It's about 100 foot long. It's made of railroad ties. And he has hoops that are go about 2 foot over the railroad ties. And it's 100 foot by 4 foot wide, okay? And he has those hoops about every 3 foot. So he has about 30 hoops ran down this bed, and he had really thick white cloth or white plastic draped over the side of it. He didn't have it over the bed now because temperatures are up and everything like that. So I called him and I said, hey, how much are your potato slips? He said they're 20 cents each. I thought that was just crazy because I just purchased some off of Steel Potatoes and I give like 80 cents, okay? So the fact that these are like 20 cents, it's just a crazy good price. And they're Beauregards. I might be saying that wrong, but that's the variety they are that he has. So while I was on the phone with him, I chatted him up a little bit because I've started my own slips the last 2 years with some success, some failures. I have about 50% success rate, and I wanted to see how he does it because he's been doing it for years and sells them. So what he tells me, he says every spring, about April, he removes the soil from that raised bed. He digs down about a foot, pushes that soil to the side, and he fills it up. He puts about 4 to 6 inches of green sawdust, so fresh sawdust, down. The purpose of that is as the sawdust breaks down, it's going to create heat. Microbes and stuff are going to be breaking down that sawdust. It's going to create heat. It's going to create warmth for the sweet potatoes to germinate, to make the slips produce. So he puts the sawdust down. I said, oh, so then you put your sweet potatoes in sawdust? He said, no. Put the sawdust down 4 to 6 inches. Then you come in with your soil, put that down. Then you put your sweet potatoes in the soil, and then he covers it with the plastic. I said, well, do you water it in afterwards? He said, no. He does not water at all until the sweet potato slips have started to come up, and then that's when he waters it. He had like a Dram watering wand over there, and he had several thousand sweet potato slips growing in this bed. So he just packs the bed with sweet potatoes, sawdust, green sawdust, soil, sweet potatoes, lightly covered sweet potatoes, covers the hoops with plastic, and then he had bricks where he kept the plastic down with the bricks, and then he does not water it at all until the sweet potato slips form. He said the soil cannot get below 50. If the soil gets below 50, your sweet potatoes will turn black and they will not produce slips. He said the sweet potato needs 80 degrees temperature for the slips to actually start producing. So he does it mid to late April, knowing that the sawdust is going to create warmth and that plastic's going to keep in the warmth, plus sunlight's going to give it the greenhouse effect, so he's going to get the warmth he needs for the sweet potatoes to produce those slips. So if you're wondering how commercial guys, because he's a commercial guy, he's producing these commercially, if you're wanting to know how they produce their slips, that's how he does it. So you need to find you a source for some green sawdust, and then you use a raised bed, you create you some hoops, and then you cover it in plastic. So this year I've done it in just with soil in a little tray, and then I have them in jars of water, and I have them both on a germination mat, so I've got the temperature right. But one thing I was doing is in the tray with the soil is I was watering them prematurely. He said that's probably why about half my potatoes were rotting. He said the water thing's fine, but you can't do that on a large scale. He can't have, 1,000 jars out there with sweet potatoes propped up in them. So if you're doing on a small scale like me, yeah, you just want to get a few sweet potato slips. You can do the jar method, and you can do the soil and little tray method on a heat mat, but do not water until the slips actually start forming. Otherwise, you're going to get that mold. So I thought it needed the moisture, but turns out everything it needs is already in that sweet potato. The water is not needed until the slips get roots, and they won't get roots until the sweet potato slips already formed. So that makes sense now that I think it through. But have a great day. I hope this helps you on your journey to produce your own sweet potato slips. And I'm sorry I couldn't get footage of the on-site. I just didn't feel right about it. He wasn't there. There was neighbors around, and I didn't want to be filming and looking suspicious, taking pictures and video of his place. But if I get over there again and he's okay with it, maybe I'll talk to him and see if we can get an interview or something set up. But that's how the commercial guys and gals produce sweet potato slips. Have a great day.